We are all born with one of the greatest treasures we will ever have in our life. One of those treasures is our mind, and the other is our heart. A quote from the book Mornings in Jenin by Susan Abulhawa. The first feeling that came through to me after I put down this book was the feeling of thankfulness. Thankful for the life I had with all its blessings. Thankful for the ability to read this book because it opened my eyes, my heart and soul. And thankful to an awesome sister who had lent it to me, without which I would never have come across it. Assalamu alaikum everyone. Hope you're all doing okay. Today I am going to review a book, Mornings in Jenin by Susan Abulhawa. In a refugee camp of Jenin, Amal is born into a world of loss, of home, country, culture and heritage. Her Palestinian family was driven away from their ancestral homes by the newly formed rising state of Israel in 1948. Her older brother, while still a baby, was stolen by an Israeli soldier. In the camp of Jenin, the adults subsist on memories and they wait to return to the homes they love. In Amal's own home, her mother has walled away her heart with grief and her father labors away all day. But in the fleeting peacefulness of dawn, he reads to her. He reads to her to show the love he has for her, as big as the ocean with all the fishes in it. In those quiet mornings, they dream together of a brighter future. This is Amal's story, the story of one family's struggle for survival over 60 years of Palestinian-Israeli conflict. It takes us from Jenin to Lebanon to Jerusalem and finally to America. It is a story not only shaped by scars and fears, but also by the transformative intimacy of marriage and fierce protectiveness of motherhood. It is a story about faith and hope and life-suffocating love. It is a story that has to be read by those who want to see the Palestinian catastrophe not with their heads but with their hearts. There are many characters in the book, mainly Amal's family and friends, her neighbors, and all those she meets on her journey called life. All of their stories are interwoven with each other, but none is as important as Amal's own. You can call it a fictional novel, but with fictional characters, but I would like to call it an autobiographical novel because it was all the characters and the incidents, all of them were constructed by Abulhawa based on her memories and visits to Palestine. A Palestinian-American biologist turned novelist turned activist. She was born to refugees of the Six-Day War of 1967 and later moved to the United States of America. She was one of the few international people who was able to visit a refugee camp in Palestine, which was under siege by the Israeli forces. As she met the people there and learned about their stories and came back home, she felt this urge to write about their problems, to write about the people she met. She wanted to give a voice to the muted ones, and that is how this book was born. The book was originally known as The Scar of David, and it was published in around 2006, but it fell out of print. Later, it found its way into the French reading world and became a French bestseller book. Later, by 2010, it found its way into the English world and it was republished under the title Mornings in Jenin. Abulhawa has done her homework well and the book has been splendidly written. Her pathos and mastery is such that it enables the reader to see, feel, hear, grasp, and even smell the chronicles of Palestine. She writes about the women and the mothers, the difficulties they face in the war-stricken zones and the refugee camps of Palestine. You can say that it's actually a book about Palestine, but you can relate to it. You can say that it is a story of anyone who has been displaced from their homes and anyone who are living in refugee camps elsewhere in the world. Susan Abulhawa is an activist, like I said before, and she is the founder of an NGO, Playgrounds for Palestine, which builds playgrounds in occupied Palestine and in refugee camps elsewhere. It is an amazing book, and it's definitely one of my favorite ones, and I recommend it to all those who are sensitive to the Palestinian issue and all those who simply love a good read. It is richly told and full of humanity. She writes a true and unbiased story of both sides, as she quotes in her book. For I'll keep my humanity, even though I did not keep my promise, and love shall not be wrested from my veins. Give it a go. It's an amazing book, and I'm sure you will not be dissatisfied. Signing off, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Did you know, Mother? Had Salim was buried in his own home? Does he tell you stories in heaven now? I wish I had the chance to meet him, to see his toothless grin and to touch his leathery skin, to beg of him as you did in your youth for stories from our Palestine. He was over 100 years old, Mother. To have lived so long to be buried by a bulldozer? Is this what it means to be a Palestinian? Is this what it means to be a Palestinian?